Don't go anywhere. Be back in a moment. Okay, I'm back. What do you guys want to talk about today? I gotta move the Starbase stuff around. Space? Okay. I mean, yeah, we can do that. BOF, Rocket Guy? What's BOF again? I think I know what it is, but I'm not sure. Mars mission. Oh, cool. Oh, yeah, Blue Origin Federation. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yep. Ah. Okay, shut that out. And we need... Hang on. We need the Space News tunes. Let's go. Hey, Bree, how are you? Time for Space News. I was a little too early on the music intro. Here you go. Alright. Alright, let's do this. So, welcome to Space News. Let's see what we got. I'll be honest, guys, there's not much today. Not much news going around. Just small things here and there. I mean, the big one was, and this is more tech news than anything, was Tesla's AI day yesterday. How Tesla engineers are working on processors that can... They're working on processors that basically... a modular chipset architecture, from what I understand, that can be linked together, kind of like Legos. You can take... So one of the chips is about this big, and it's designed for extremely high bandwidth and a lot of computations all at once, right? And Tesla rolled out with a new architecture where they could basically take these things and you could stack the processors basically on top of each other. From what I understand, that's how that works. You could just stack them and like they physically fit together and then literally will work together and increase your processing power. And Tesla engineers stated that they could get up to 1.1 exaflops of computing power in 10 standard server racks, which is that's a lot of power. How many frames per second in KSP? Jim, that with enough RAM, that could, one of those chips could run like probably a 7,000 part chip. No problem. 1.1 exaflops this is Elon Musk's words. That's like, what did he say exactly? Hold on. He said it was like almost equivalent to a human in terms of like processing power. Like, I forget exactly what he said. Now, don't get me wrong. The text. What the heck is he talking about? That's not space. That's also not space. It's a quintillion 10 to the 18th floating point operations per second, enough to simulate a human brain. What the hell was that? Is that the... That's the Taliban? Is he talking to the Taliban? What the hell? What is happening? Oh, this is... Oh, he's gonna get flack for that. Oh! Ho, 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 ho. Yo. Yep, he's gonna get flack for that. That's gonna piss somebody off somewhere. Whoa. Oh, nice. That's cool, goalie. Hell yeah. So... Yeah, that's strange. Okay. Yeah, it's Rule 8 stuff, O-Force. It has to do with Afghanistan. So the one of the accounts that's in that reply thread is the Taliban. And some guy replied, and he has a freaking Peepo G. He has a Peepo G avatar, only it's Peepo G with like a turban on and stuff. Oh my goodness. Mario Andretti's looking to buy an F1 team? Well, that'd be pretty good news. And then he replied to it how a guy with a Peepo G Twitter frog emote is successfully negotiating with the Taliban. What is going on? Oh my god. All right. So anyway, the Tesla processor. Somebody's using the freaking Peepo frog to negotiate. It's so stupid. What is happening? Oh my god. The freaking memes, dude. What's happening? What's going on here? This is I don't know. Okay. This is a strange timeline, dudes. I'm sorry, that really messed me up there. That's really funny, actually. Jesus Christ. Oh my god, it's so bad. Can we DeLorean time machine out of here, please? Anyway, he said that it's enough to simulate a human brain, which is actually some pretty cool. That's pretty cool processing power. And then Tesla basically said that what they're going to do, or what they've been doing, is they've been making the full self-driving beta. The full self-driving beta is basically a robot with wheels, right? The car is a robot. It's semi-autonomous, right? Tesla also unveiled that they would be building an actual robot using the full self-driving autopilot for the robot to like walk around and do different tasks and stuff.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Depends. Can the F-100 get to 88? I could make it get to 88. Probably not right now, but we could make it. We could make it go that fast. It shouldn't be too hard. Some nitrous. I can make it go that fast once. Does that help? Fighting Monster. 44 months. Hooray! Hasn't Boston Dynamics done that already? Yeah? Yeah, I guess they thought that Tesla can do that too. Surprisingly, the stock didn't tank today. Let me see. Did it go up? It's not bad. Let's take a look. So, yeah, there's a little bump right there. That bump right there, it's not much. 673 to 682. It was up over here. It dipped the other day. What happened here? Whoa! So we can retrofit a 78 Pinto with full self-driving capabilities by putting a Tesla robot behind the wheel. That's a really good idea, man. Yeah. Hello, my name is Johnny Cab. Huh. The whole market dipped the other day, especially cars. Still got supply issues. Insert standard, American spiel about how we should build stuff here, etc., etc. I'm not gonna, you know. Anyway, real life inflatable autopilot. Yeah. Mm-hmm. The market has been in meltdown this week because they're slowing down the government purchase of bonds. Okay. Yeah. All right. I'm not stock trader streamer. There's other streamers for that. So I think I understand what that means, Heckler. But anyway, stonks. Let's keep going. Yeah. Here's a picture of the robot. Look at this thing. Yeah, someone else can explain how that ripples through the economy. Well, I mean, the Fed and whatnot, etc., etc. And it will definitely not try to kill you. Radium, I love how that was the first thing that he said. It does look like a fencer, doesn't it? For someone that's really, okay, this is like a Bush League joke, but for somebody that's really, really concerned about AI, Elon Musk seems to really be pursuing that whole Terminator thing. Hasn't he said that he doesn't want to do that? I understand what he's trying to do. He's trying to safely implement it because he thinks it's going to get implemented anyway. I get it. Like, it's just, yeah, okay. Like, what's stopping that thing from strangling somebody? No, that's another joke. I understand that's not how it works as well. Just, sorry, making Bush League jokes over here. I plan to disappoint you in all new and exciting ways. Hey, Pilch. Been out for a few days. Did I miss KSP today? Nope. In fact, we're going to be starting it pretty soon here. There's not much space news, guys. They did vent the GSE tanks at the Starship pad, a sign of the Starbase pad being operational yesterday. There was tank venting, which was pretty cool. If we go over to Nazar Spaceflight, let's see. Let's take a look. very nice. See last. Okay. I keep saying Elon is making the robot to scare the people because they aren't taking the AI threat seriously. Yeah, maybe. His long-term plan was, yep. He's just getting to it now, though. Yeah. Yeah. Somebody asked him about that in the Q&A, Max. So, there was a guy that's like, hi, is there, any plans down the road to, have the robots, provide companionship? And Elon went, no. It would help with the overpopulation problem. You know what else would help with that? Launching people into space and then building cities in space. They call it space because there's a lot of it. Yeah. Thank you for entertaining me with space knowledge while I have the COVID. Yeah, no problem, Sauce. Be careful, man. Take your vitamins and stay healthy, my dude. Yes, let's launch all the Rule 8 people to space. If we launch all the Rule 8 people into space, there's just going to be other Rule 8 people that pop up. They're like vermin. They just keep coming. It's just a necessary constant. It's a constant evil. You have to deal with that crap. It's like they go through mitosis. It's like a virus. Can we get... Nope, not saying that joke. Not saying that joke. That would have been inappropriate. Let's move on. Let's move on. Let's see. So Soyuz did scrub on the pad, and it was not the rocket. It was the customer. Matrix joke. Not really. They did do some venting, but yeah, I can't find the exact thing of it. Refine that. All the Rule 8 people we don't like. What if you don't like any of them? So you guys understand that if you launch all the Rule 8 people that you don't like into space, what's left is going to naturally polarize, right? This is what I mean. They're going to naturally polarize, and then what's left of the group that you didn't launch into space is going to start arguing with each other, and then you're back to square one. You understand that that's going to happen, right? We're dealing with human social behavior here. That's not going to work either. That won't work either. It's like playing whack-a-mole. It's like, ha 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 ha! I'm not going anywhere. It was the valve. Funny to hear about that. Yeah, Barak. Yeah. It's not, I'm not an anarchist by any means, 95. It's just, yeah, some things is a zero-sum game. That's how I look at that. You keep launching them into space. It'll be a big boost for the launch market. Constant launches. Now, there's an idea I can get behind. I am not a crook. I'm not. Can we just do that with past politicians, Tessa? Like, you give a whack-a-mole and, like, Kennedy pops up. We choose to go to them. Nope, you missed me. Nope, you did. No, you know what? That's another bad joke. Yeah, that probably wouldn't be. Yep. Nope, we don't need that. Yeah, we don't need that at all, either. Anyway, next bit of news. We don't need any. Well, it's whack-a-mole. So like you just have, Nixon pop up, and then it, but certain people we probably shouldn't do that with. Anyway, did I see this? What's that? What? Suborbital war. What's this? No, that's not how that... That's not how that works at all. Okay. Forged. Yeah, no, that's not. That. Man, I thought I was making bad jokes today. Jeez. Alright. Let's see what else we got. So, we'll jump into some Russian news here. This is coming from Katya Pavlyuchenko. Let's see. 2 members of the Russian Academy of Sciences confirmed to Gazeta RU that Roscosmos decided to postpone the launch of Luna 25 to May 2022. Ah, that sucks. According to them, there's not enough time to prepare the spacecraft for launch in November. Don't do what we do, dude. Oh, no, don't do that. May 2022 isn't too bad. So Luna 25 is a lunar prospecting rover that the Russians are going to send to the South Pole, at least planned. They're going to do that in May 2022. The cool thing is that Luna 25 picks up right where Luna 24 left off, which was that was the Soviet lunar program that was working. They basically mothballed the program, and then last year they went into the factory that was making these things, and they just started fixing stuff and putting it back together, which is actually pretty cool. That's pretty neat to see it up and running again. Pretty neat. So, unfortunately, it did get postponed, but May 2022 isn't that bad of a delay. Anyway. See last pause. We've seen this already, Forge. Anyway. Let's keep going. Let's see. So this next one's coming from Roscosmos again. Correction of the orbit of the International Space Station was postponed to August 21st. At present, the parameters of the station's orbit are after the corrective maneuver, and the exact time of its implementation are being calculated. Okay. Gonna give it a little bit of a station boost. The ISS orbital altitude correction was postponed to the backup date at the request of the American side. Such a request came in connection with the technical unavailability of the American segment, which was reported to Mission Control Moscow by the American flight director. Huh, wonder what's going on up there. They already had 2 conflicting launches in November, one for OneWeb and Luna 25, so it's probably shifted towards OneWeb. I mean, that's the one that's bringing you money, so yeah, probably. Do we know the composition of the moon? Any metals? We've literally only scratched the surface on the moon, Wookie. Yeah, so anybody that tries to pass off like, oh, why are we going back to the moon? We've already been there. Okay. Yeah. If you go into your backyard and you stick a shovel into the ground and do... Are you an expert on your backyard's ecosystem? No, that's literally all we've done. There is stuff in the basaltic regions. There are metal. There's metals. There's iron, and then there's nickel, and iron, nickel, and what else? I have to look. So lunar basaltic. See, so check this out. Look. What I mean when I say we literally scratched the surface is that when Apollo 17 landed at Taurus Littrow, Gene Cernan and Jack Schmitt, Jack Schmitt is a geologist, and he was the only scientist that went to the moon. And they actually, 17 was a geological mission. They went and they got moon rocks, and we analyzed what basically what it is. It's all kinds of stuff. Yeah, there's resources up there, absolutely. Obsidian for the nether portal. Yep. I need rocket sage for this. Cool. Yeah, basalt lava flow. Yeah, I'm trying to... Describes it as a hydrocrystalline equigranular basalt containing some poikiltic plagoclasts. Soda weight before being broken up was 29.57 grams. The sliced off 1.1 gram moon chip segments from lunar basalt consists of 30% plagioclase, 59% pyrazine, 10% illuminite, and 1% olivine. Yep, olivine? Yeah, I don't know what any of those words mean. Any geologists? Anyone? The Apollo 17 lunar basalt is described by technicians as a coarse-grained, high titanium. High titanium? Huh. Interesting. Yeah, that just looks like granite. Yeah. There's a couple of different things going on in here. See? There's all this different stuff. So, I'm thinking... Oh, I gotta talk to my cousin about this. She knows it better than I do. See how there's different colors and stuff? Essentially, the different colors... that's how it dried when it was heated up by something. I don't know what. I have to say lava. We know there's lava tubes on the moon, so... There was lava on it at one time. But, yeah, that's pretty much where my geological expertise ends. In my expert opinion, this is in fact a rock. Wait a minute. What was that? What was that picture? I'm taking the moon for granite. Yep. Huh. I'm disappointed. I was expecting cheese. Yeah. It's okay, Rocky, take your time. Yeah, this doesn't mean much to me. I'll be honest, guys. Here, let's see. Surface geology. Presence of water, surface conditions. Look at the chemical composition of the funny sounding names, alright? Pyrazines have the general formula of calcium, sodium, iron, magnesium, zinc, antimanganese, lithium. And Y represents ions of smaller size such as chromium, aluminum, iron, magnesium, cobalt. Oh yeah, dude. There's a bunch of good stuff up there. And it was 60% of it is that. Dude, that's freaking ore right on the surface. That's... Okay, no wonder people want to mine this thing. What about this? What about plagioclasy? That's not how you say that. But, let's see. Sodium and calcium atoms. All these flavors, and you choose salty. Oh, andesite. Nice. Calcium, sodium, aluminum, silicon. Yeah, we can mine this. Gotta find a way to refine it on the moon, but you can mine this. Sure, no problem. Plagioclase. Thank you. Plagiarism. I don't want to copy you, O4, so I'm going to pronounce it differently. that was a joke. Would mining the moon affect its orbit? No more than it would affect Earth's, Sauce. It would be inconsequential, dude, to be honest with you. We'd have to, like, blow a chunk of the moon away. Like, dude, you could take, like, 50 SAR Boombas and hit one spot on the moon. You'd probably make a hell of a dust storm and a meteor shower on Earth, but, yeah, no, that won't do anything. The scale, the planetary scale is unbelievable, dude. It is ridiculous how big Earth actually is. Our brains don't really understand it. You won't understand it until you go and see it. And I know that because, you know, I'm obsessed with scale. As a 3D modeler, you know, by trade, scale is my jam, dude. Or scale is my peanut butter. I don't know. So the scale here, like, I have an idea how big Earth is, but I would love to see it. It is friggin' huge. It's a big planet. I mean, all the nukes in the world, if we detonated every nuke ever tested, or every nuke ever dropped in anger, all the nukes at the world, if you were looking at that, it would look like a little psst from the moon. You wouldn't even notice. Just be a little psst, little bright flash for a second, and then that's it. Like a little sputter, almost. It's not even close. Food is here. Nice. Yeah, okay, I'll get that in there. There's a couple more Russian things here that we'll get to. And then we have the Chinese that did another spacewalk last night. Food. Okay. Wait until there's another lunar eclipse. One time I was able to see the shadow of the Earth and its larger radius quite clearly. It was actually cool. Yep. Big 2R scale, but Earth is quite small in comparison to other celestial bodies. Oh yeah, compared to the gas giants, Earth is tiny. If you go to planet scale comparison, right? You go to planet scale comparison, dudes. Yeah, here, take a look. That's actually not 100% spot on. That's more like it. Yep. Yeah, that's about right. And then the sun in this picture would be almost a straight line right here. Yeah, that one had Planet 9 in it, for frick's sake. I saw it, I'm like, oh god, I hope nobody sees that. But, yep. Friggin' Planet. I hate people. Freaking hate people. There you go. Yeah, that's about right. If Pluto was on this map, it'd be off the screen. It'd be over there somewhere. It'd be like out here. But yeah, there's your approximates there. It's big, dude. And yeah, planetary scale is ridiculous. There's 7 billion people on Earth. And there's still plenty of space. I mean, most of it's water, but anyway, here's some pictures from the Chinese EVA. That's cool. Nice. Sometimes it's closer. Yeah, that's right. Pluto's orbit is eccentric. It's not a perfect circle. What's going on with Blue Origin is like everybody jumping ship now. I don't know. So here's something. What do we got here? So this is coming from Jonathan McDowell. Spacewalk from the Tiangong space station. Hasheng and Boming opened the hatch at 0038 UTC on August 20th. They deployed a camera and installed some external pumps and further tested the robot arm. The hatch was reportedly closed at 6:33 UTC. Cool. That's yeah, that's pretty neat. Not a big tree hugger or anything, but even I would rather not urbanize the entire planet. No. That would be bad. Yeah, that wouldn't be ideal. Yeah, we really don't want to do that. I mean, eventually we'll outgrow the planet, dude. One could argue that we kind of are right now. I mean, we're consuming more than we, right? Like, that's the whole climate change thing. And yeah, I get it. I mean, the other screwed up part is that the climate's going to change anyway, but we're compounding the effect. That's why everybody's like, oh my god, you know, like. But yeah, no, I like the Earth National Park idea. I think Earth is on a planetary, like on a solar system scale, Earth is an anomaly in this system. There's no other planet like that. I mean, one could say that we already screwed that up, we already screwed the control up, but it should be studied compared to these other planets. And that can help us solve problems here down on the surface, you know? If we go and figure out why the heck Mars is the way that it is, and, you know, basically get a guy over there with a shovel, have him dig a hole and be like, that's pretty neat. You can tell it's Mars because of the way that it is. Would you look at that? We could solve problems here easily. Figure out if we could figure out why Mars doesn't have a magnetic field and why it looks like it did at one point and now it doesn't, and why Venus is like basically what happens if you took Earth and put it in a microwave like a peep and it went, you know, like. Yeah, we should figure that stuff out. That's kind of important. You remember the idea I had with somebody 3D printing NFTs? Oof. Elon is worried more about lack of people than overpopulation. If you look at the birth trajectory, he's right. Yeah. I wouldn't go to Venus with a shovel, though. I mean, it would need to be one durable shovel. I'm trying, Din. I'm trying. I try to make it fun. And thanks for all your help again, too, man, by the way. I appreciate it. Don't urbanize all Mars. I want one spot, like countryside, and have Cybertruck. Well, Mariner Valley would be a little bit difficult to... Actually, that's probably where we should put people, if we're going to. That's where the most atmosphere is. You're funny? Thanks. Could we make an Earth like Coruscant, or would that be better to do on Mars? Goalie, the thing is, guys, like, I think, you know, people genuinely don't get, like, the scale that we're working with here. Could we make an entire planet a city? Could we just build buildings on Earth everywhere? Yeah, sure. Of course we could do that. You'd screw the climate up pretty bad. The ocean would only be able to exchange so much CO2 before we basically make this place unsustainable. Don't get me wrong. That's not happening anytime soon. Everybody sounds the alarm with the climate stuff because we're deviating from the natural course. That's why people are like, ah! That's why people are like, no, we got to do this. We got to be sustainable. And I agree. We should establish symbiosis with this planet. But on the other hand, we don't really have to if we fly out into space. If we extend humanity's grip out into space, then that's not going to be a problem anymore. I mean, well, that's not entirely true. It's a problem for another day. For instance, I have just hypothetically, because I don't, I have a 2-car garage, all right? And I want another car. So say I have a pickup truck, I have a sedan, and I want a fast car to drive around in, okay? I can go buy a 4-car garage. So buy a 4-car garage. That solves my garage space problem. But what happens when I want a 5th car? You know, then we gotta, you see what I mean? You grow into it. Good luck getting 7 billion people off Earth. We don't have to get 7 billion people off Earth. More like 3 or 4 would do us right. Yeah. Well, and you know what's funny? To tie it back into space news, that's where I think Blue Origin is correct. Screw settling on planets. Screw that. That's dumb. That's a waste of time. You build cities in space. Like, O'Neill cylinders are the way to go. That's the way to do that. That's the right move. You have plenty of space up there. You just got to figure out a way to be self-sustaining, and that's... Or you could just mine the belt. Everyone's like, expanse? 95, thanks for the 21-monther, by the way. I'm sorry, I've been falling a little behind on the resubs. Boldly going to the common line. Yeah, right? I mean, you've been watching too much Isaac Arthur. Yeah, man. See, Rob, the thing is that there's so... Dude, we don't even know. There's so much stuff out in the asteroid belt. There is... Like, okay, what was the analogy that I said last time and chat got all mad at me? There's like enough iron. If you took all the iron in the belt and you just made it into a big sphere, it would be bigger than Earth. Like, there is an insane amount of resources out there. Not necessarily Elysium. If you drive the cost down to get into space dive, it doesn't matter. And that's what Elon's trying to do. You said something factually wrong and chat got mad. Chat corrected you. Nobody got mad. Yeah, okay. So, Jonas, I just want to clarify for the record. You are correcting me about me being wrong about a correction previously now, and correcting what I said previously now with another correction. Is that, I just want to get this on the VOD so everybody understands what's going on. Yeah, pretty much. You know how I feel about that, right? It's very annoying. Yeah. Just want to make sure. I'm sorry. It's just that the irony is unfounded. I think that's hilarious. So, I mean, anyway, yeah, I think building cities in space would be a better way to do that. Mining the belt, stuff like that. Even mining the moon, you know. I mean, what's on the moon? It's just a rock. It's rock and metals, right? Like, there's nothing up there. According to a quick Google search, the total mass of the asteroid belt is about 3% of the mass of the moon. Still a whole lot, but not planet-sized. I mean, you know what? You know what's messed up, Copy? Even 3%. Even 3% of the moon. That's... I'm trying to think, like, what would be a good analogy there? Like, if you took that and you spread it over the surface, how big of a continent would it be? And what's the thickness that we spread? Like, what's the surface area if we did that? We'd have to do some math formulas out. Live in space, mine the planets until there's nothing left, then move on? No, not the harvester aliens. We shouldn't screw with Earth. The belt's the right move. And it's not that far away. It's just beyond Mars. That's... nothing. It's not a long way. Did you see Firefly static test? I did, Josh. Yeah, really cool. The what? Yeah, right. Hello?
Hi. Sorry to, interrupt the stream for the third time today, but how worried do I need to be about this hurricane? Like, do we need to go get batteries? Should I fill up the car? Or are we just gonna have to stay inside for a little bit?
Yeah. My mom called and she wanted us to go over on Sunday because they're not gonna be there.
Yeah, you told me that. She wants us over there the whole day?
Well, we gotta watch the basement in case it floods, so...
Okay.
Party at my parents' house, bros!
No, I'm just like...
I get to work on the truck all day.
Yeah, do I need to fill the tub with water?
Fill the tub with water? What's that, some Midwestern tornado nonsense?
I don't know, man. I've never lived through a hurricane, okay?
Fill the tub with water. What is that? What is that? What does that mean?
Somebody said it in chat, and it's something my folks did too.
Wait, why do we fill the tub with water? What?
So you have fresh water in case.
Oh, water reserve. You fill the tub with water for so you have potable water, or so you can flush the toilet. I get. Yeah, I mean, I don't see. Not really. I mean, how big is this hurricane supposed to be?
So look it up on the Weather Channel.
Okay. Oh, that's nice. It auto-populated that. That's lovely. A storm surge warning is in effect. Tropical storm Henry. Oh God,
Henry.
It has Henry.
Yeah.
Henry. Okay, Henry. Yeah. See. All right. Take a look. So that's. So okay. I was telling Chad about this. A little bit of a science lesson. Hurricanes really lose a lot of energy when they go over land.
Okay.
So this hurricane is going to hit Rhode Island. So, that sucks for them. We're just going to get a lot of rain.
Yeah, but like I can't imagine it hitting here and then not hitting here. Like, well, how could it hit the Cape and then not come through in at least a little bit of Boston?
What is all this near?
The coast?
The hurricane's coming this way.
Okay.
So if it's spinning this way, see what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, but they're still talking like 40 to 60 mile an hour winds.
Yeah, that's whatever. It's no problem. So, goalie, here's the thing, fellas. Like, okay, look, this hurricane is, and I'm gonna call it Henry because I don't respect it. I don't acknowledge its existence. All right, it's Henri. No, shut up. You're not French. You just spelled your name with an I at the end. So this thing is coming this way. All right, it's going this way, like this. Right? That's where it's going to hit Long Island, Rhode Island, and Connecticut, right? So, basically, it's how far away we are from shore, okay? So, let me shut the roads off for a second. So, because the hurricane's coming this way, if we go to Boston, right, where we are, look at how far we are off the coast. We're 60 miles. See? We're 60 miles off the coast, okay? If the hurricane was coming this way...
That's what I think it's doing.
It's not. If it was coming in this way... Hurricanes don't come in this way because the jet stream goes this way. It can't...
Look it up.
It doesn't go sideways.
Go back to the weather thing.
Hurricanes It doesn't hook like that. Go back to the weather thing, okay.
See how it's like... They show it, and it looks like it's going to hit all of Massachusetts.
I don't know how I can explain this any better. Chat, any ideas?
Okay. I'm just saying when I see that, I think I'm going to live through a hurricane. But
It's just going to be windy, and there's going to be a lot of rain. That's it.
Alright, because I just got a thing from National Grid, too, that was like, make sure you're ready! Okay.
It's not gonna be that big of a deal, sweetheart. Just because, like, even if it goes anywhere in this track,
Alright.
Here might be a little bit more rain and more wind than usual, but yeah, it's no big deal. It's just gonna be a lot of rain.
Alright.
You live within 60 miles of the ocean. You should be prepared for rain. Hurricane Harvey dumped buckets, implying I haven't done this before. Duber, it's fine. It's really not a problem.
Alright, well then...
We're just going to get a lot of rain. It's just going to be a lot of rain. It's just going to be windy.
Alright, so if I don't go fill up the car with gas and buy batteries, and then we don't have power for 5 days, it'll be your fault?
If it'll make you feel better, go and buy that stuff, okay? If it'll make you feel better. We're not going to need it, I'll tell you that right now. Physics doesn't lie. Unless the hurricane somehow does an S-turn and it does a chicane and goes out towards Bermuda and then hooks in and comes across through the Cape. Yeah, it's not going to happen.
All right.
Physics doesn't change.
Okay. Well, global warming, but...
And what's global warming? Heating up the oceans. It makes hurricanes more violent.
Okay.
But land is still the same temperature.
Yeah. Fair.
Physics doesn't change, guys. I mean, I ain't a meteorologist by any means. Yeah, see, there you go. From somebody that lives in Florida.
Okay.
And Goalie lives way closer.
Well, Florida's prepped for all these kinds of stuff, but, like, I don't know about the Northeast as much. That's why I was a little bit, like...
Yeah, I mean, once again, we're so far inland that it's... From the angle that the hurricane is coming, we're 60 miles inland. If the hurricane was coming from the southeast going northwest, then I'd be like, yes, we need to go prepare.
Okay.
But it's not.
Alright,
Damn
cool.
Northerners, what? It's not my fault you decided to live in a place where frickin' the ocean gets pissed at you and pees on you constantly.
Yeah,
Like,
call me the next time you get 2 inches of snow and have a heart attack.
Goalie grew up in the Midwest.
Well, same thing.
I love weather, and there's way more to take into account than what you're saying, but you're right. So if I sit here and go way more into meteorological details, do you think it'll ease Brimo's mind, Enzo?
No. Wait, was it Yensa that said that? Cause...
No.
Oh.
All right, predominant. There you go.
Okay.
2
Gee,
inches.
thanks, Graham.
Nah, we'll be fine.
Yeah.
We'll be fine.
Alright. That's all.
Ventusky.com shows it hooking towards New York City. Well, nothing of value is lost. Oh no!
Go to Ventusky, like, I'm curious.
Anyway. Henri. Henry, I'm disrespecting you, you stupid hurricane. Yeah,
Alright.
we'll be alright. We'll be fine. It's gonna be windy, don't get me wrong. But, yeah, I mean, there are other things I can explain, but I don't want to do it in front of chat.
Yeah.
Actually, hold on one second. Say it again.
That makes me feel better. Thank you.
Your boy knows people, okay? Your boy knows people. I know people, okay?
Alright, I love you.
Love you too, baby.
Don't forget your chroma pizza.
Chroma pizza?
Yeah.
Wait, you brought Chroma pizza?
Yeah. It's not gonna chroma.
Oh. Kind of want...
I should send that to the security guys at work.
Yeah, Golian, it's fine. I could go for some beef stew right now, man. I'll tell you what. All right, anyway, back to space news. Yeah, guys, we'll be fine. Long story short, what I was telling Brimo is I know people at the power company. If they're not panicking, I'm not panicking. Simple as that. Not the weather people, because the weather people can get the stuff wrong. I listen to the people that actually have to go out and fix things. All right? I know tons of firefighters, tons of policemen, tons of people that work at the power company. My family's been in Massachusetts for a long time. Know a lot of people. Yeah, if they're not panicking, I'm not panicking. And the reason why I shut the stream off is because I was telling Brimo who I know. You know, I know a guy. Yeah, it's from the Northeast. You could trust somebody from the Northeast when they said they know a guy. Okay. Never turn your back on family. I actually don't have any family that works at the power company, but I know people. Why did the fish blush? Because of the seaweed. Ugh. The biggest fear is all that rain hitting the coronet. She may not take it. It's under a cover goalie with cinder blocks on it. Yeah, the coronet's under a cover. Don't worry about that. I keep that thing covered up. It's a little bit... It's cool, but also in suburban Massachusetts, it's seen as an impeccable eyesore. Yes, it's an eyesore. You can't have it. I'm going to go drive around in my BMW 330 convertible. Hey, did you know you're polluting the environment with that car because it's old? Yeah, this is the kind of crap I get. Yeah, don't worry, it's covered up. Yes, and people actually talk like this, and then they laugh like this. Ha! Oh, man, that's funny. Yeah, don't worry about it, it's fine. An activist, yes. Anyway, this space news derailed, but everything is good. Yeah, capybara, yeah. Mm-hmm. You don't live in a flood zone, right? Live on a hill. We're good. Guys, I don't live near the shore, okay? So, once again, once you get... Boston is pretty flat because they flattened everything and dumped the hills into the harbor and then made more city. So, Boston is really flat. Once you get outside of Boston, it's rolling hills. Rolling hills as you approach the Continental Divide out in Western Mass. So it's very hilly. Yeah, don't worry about it. It's fine. You like Huey Lewis in the news? Then they released 4. Arguably their best work. A song so catchy, people don't probably listen to the lyrics. But they should, because it's not just about the pleasures of conformity and the importance of fitting in, but it's a personal statement from the band itself. Hey, Paul! Ah! See my last before my last. Don't do that. Don't do that. Yeah, Dish, I ain't worried. You have a dog? A little chow or something? No, chat. Is this a raincoat? Yes, it is! Snake, 71 months. Try getting a reservation at Dorsey and now, you freaking stupid... Why is Wario in mission control? Hey, stop hating on Italians, okay? Stop doing that. Raised print dish. Very nice. I forget what he says, dude. Italians make subpar pizza. There, I said it. Ivo, where do you live again? Yeah, John Eric, I'm with you on that one. Your compliment was sufficient. That's on a need-to-know basis. Okay. Need-to-know basement. Any aliens found? No, not yet, Ninja. The search continues. This is Sergeant Peterson from Chicago Police. Abe Froman, the Sausage King of Chicago. Nice. So who makes the best pizza then, Ivo? Who makes the best pizza? Americans? Do Americans make better pizza? I don't know. Italians can't cook. However, Sicilians can cook, though. No. As someone who has family in northern Italy, no, you are in fact incorrect. That is a stereotype. Stop Italian hate. Mother-in-law is Sicilian, they can cook, dude. Ivo, you haven't answered my question. I'm waiting. Well, we're waiting. Not using near enough Italian fingers in this conversation. Germans can cook. All my blood is from the island. Yeah, spoken like a true southerner. Yeah, I gotcha. Regional European food is amazing. It's unique and can't be replicated. He went radio silent. Interesting. Interesting. All right. Anyway, moving on. Let's see. What else do we got here? Okay, Kem, there was the vacuum chamber thing, and we saw that yesterday. That was actually pretty cool. Mom's side traces to Naples. I might be a little bit biased, but I can confirm Northern Italians can cook. See, we can cook, and we can also make fast cars. And planes. And space station modules. And fighter jets, which is kind of like planes. It's kind of the same thing. And highways. Ooh, Sicilians are gonna get mad at me. So there's this thing with Italy, guys, for the people that don't know. The folks in the north is pretty industrialized, and the south is pretty rural. Like, and Rome is like kind of in the center. Yeah, and they yeah, you could see where that's going. If you're from the U.S., that should make a lot of sense. Yeah, Capybara, it's kind of the same thing going on. Italians are alright, I don't mind them. I mean, you really want to know the honest truth? Every region of Italy is good at cooking a different thing. So, like in the north, you want lasagna, go to the north. You want pizza, you go to the south. And I've never even been to Italy, and I know that. Like, it really depends. It depends. You want Tuscan Italian? That's on the Adriatic, right? It's different. It's totally different. Why is Italy as a nation younger than the US? Well, they had this thing where they had to remake their government after 1943. Yeah, they had that thing. So from like 1922 to like 1943, there was another government there, and the people there decided that they had enough of it. Yeah, so they made a new one. Yeah. Yeah, they made a new one. The country was there since ancient times, though. Yeah, but after the fall of the Roman Empire, Italy broke up into a bunch of city-states, just like Germany did after the fall of the Holy Roman Empire, right? If I'm remembering that correctly. Hey, Airborne, what's going on? Yeah, God, it was a bunch of independent city-states. Germany was very similar. And then some guy in the 20th century tried to unite all the city-states. And then also just decided to unite everything else. Yeah, it didn't work. Yeah, it didn't end well. Germany split during the Holy Roman Empire, too. Yep. But it's about culture. Nationality is a very novel term. Yeah, I guess. I mean, why didn't that work? It sounds like a great idea. More space news. Here we go. Hey, more space news. All right, so. And I'm out. Spatuous, I'm going to pull the ripcord on that one. Wait, do you guys hear that? Do you guys hear it? All right, that's enough. Wrong note. You shut up. You're looking at it backwards. How would you know? Link? All right, so what's Mikey saying here? I was jamming, man. I was jamming. All right, so Mike Sheets over at CNBC is getting a scoop. Jeff Bezos launched into space last month, but Blue Origin has had top talent leave since he returned to Earth. Okay. At least 11 key employees have left this summer, including a senior vice president, program leaders, and multiple senior engineers. Company spokesperson, Blue Origin grew by 850 people in 2020, and we have grown by another 650 so far in 2021. In fact, we've grown by nearly a factor of 4 over the past 3 years. Notably, Blue Origin gave full-time employees a $10,000 signing bonus. Or no, not even a signing bonus, just a bonus on July 30th, which the company intended as a thank you. But sources said sources say internally it was perceived as leadership attempting to entice talent to stay amid the NASA HLS fight. Who gives a crap? Don't look at a gift horse in the mouth. What are you, nuts? What? Why would you do that? Oh, here, I'm going to give you $10,000 as a way to say thank you. That's very disingenuous of you. What? No, nobody talks like that. No, what are you talking about, Mike? Are you kidding me? That's not how that works. Oh my goodness. Really predominant. Interesting. 15 G's. Wow, good for you, man. What? Key people who left Blue Origin. New Shepard Senior Vice President Steve Bennett. New Glenn Senior Designer Bob S. New Glenn Senior Finance Manager Bill Scammell. Senior Production Manager Christopher Payne. Senior Propulsion Design Engineer Dave Sanderson. Update. We still have no freaking clue where this guy is. Since publishing, sources flagged 4 more Blue Origin who left this summer. 2 from New Shepard, a lead avionics engineer and a technical project manager, and a lead BE4 engineer, and a BE7 avionics hardware engineer. Update again. Joseph P. Cooper. All he did was make a phone call, and he left with a suitcase and a plane ticket to Calcutta. Update number 1. Coop went to Disney World. Update. Blue Origin National Security Sales Director Steve Jacobs also left this summer and joined satellite broadband specialist Astranis. Okay. Hey, guys, I'll be honest. This sounds like regular aerospace shifts. Okay, so a lot of New Shepard engineers, and once again, I ain't running cover for Blue Origin. It very well could be people were pissed. But guys, here's the thing, man. Everyone that's on the internet, in the internet space bubble, so like you guys, me, all the space reporters and whatnot, everybody says, like, you know, they try to pit it as some drama or some whatever. Media gonna media, dude. That's fine. I get it. I understand why they do it. They need clicks. Whatever. It's okay. But I honestly think that, guys, turnover happens in the aerospace industry all the time. People switch companies all the time. Jim, since he left NASA, has joined 3 different companies. This happens. And if anybody's in the industry wants to weigh in, at least in a little bit, in a little regard, there's turnover. People move around. Everybody knows each other. It's like software. You just move around. There's a lot of lateral movements or lateral upward movements. So you move to another company that could get you more pay down the road. You know? Blue Origin sounds like it's all talk and no substance. Well, I mean, if a New Shepard engineer is leaving, it's because New Shepard's operational. You don't need to develop anything else. I mean, ideally, you'd want to shift them to another project. That's what SpaceX would do, right? From a guy in aviation, I feel it would be normal if their program was already kind of done. Well, New Shepard is, Casey. A lot of senior staff left at the same time. That's not normal. Well, and what I'm telling you, in the industry, it is. This stuff happens all the time. I can give a couple of examples if you want. I mean, a lot of Falcon 9 engineers left SpaceX after Falcon 9 Block 5. They went to Relativity. Everybody knows this. I mean, Tom Mueller, the lead engineer at SpaceX, stepped down when Falcon was basically good to go. Same with Hans Koenigsmann. Like, this stuff happens. People, when you're finished with a project, you want to do something new. They switch, or somebody sees, oh my gosh, you're the lead designer on the avionics for Falcon 9. Here, I'll double your salary. People poach people from the aerospace industry all the time. Heck, Blue Origin poached a bunch of people from SpaceX in 2016. Like, I mean, this is, see, like, that's the thing, man. In this type of industry, that is how that works. Once again, I'm not saying that this is nothing. Ando, you're right. It could be. It absolutely could be some, crazy stuff went down and Bob Smith's like, screw you all. If you don't get the HLS contract, you're fired. And everyone's like, fine, screw you, man. I hate this place. I'm out. Screw you, screw you, screw you. Gary, you're cool. And screw you, I'm out. They could have done that. It's possible. Can I steal chat's hive mind? I'm doing a game jam. Create a game from scratch with a theme rotation. Game ideas, go. Predominant, make a game like QWOP, but with a steam engine. You know QWOP? Remember that game? You know what I'm talking about? But make it so you have to get the cycle of the steam engine going correctly. So like so a steam engine it's an external combustion engine. You're getting boiler pressure. Boiler pressure goes in one valve, pushes the piston back, and then you have to close that one and open another one and get it to go forward. And you have to get the steam engine to run down the tracks. There you go. There's a trend worth noting on Glassdoor for CEO approval. Yeah, John, that's true. I had high hopes for Blue Origin. Ando, okay. I don't think Blue Origin is going anywhere. Like, don't get me wrong. I was super confident about them until the whole thing with HLS is going on. But see, that's the thing, man. Dude, it very much seems like people are using what's going on with Blue Origin as a way to dump on Jeff Bezos because for whatever reasons that they have, right? I think it's very important to just look at this with don't try to look at that with that preconceived notion. I don't think that's a good idea. What Blue Origin is doing is pretty run-of-the-mill in defense when stuff doesn't go your way. It's pretty run-of-the-mill. Like, SpaceX has done the same thing multiple times, dude. They've brought the government to the Court of Federal Claims over different contract awards before. It's happened. They did it for NSSL, the National Security Space Launch Services Agreement Phase 1 contract. They brought them to court, and they got shut down, which is okay. And then the EELV certification in 2014, SpaceX brought the Air Force to court for national security missions, for the right to bid on national security missions. They brought them to court and they won. So, I don't know, man. I think you're being too optimistic given their engine troubles. Engine troubles? What are you talking about, man? There's no engine troubles right now. They're testing in parallel, Hellfish. What is this troubles with new where are you guys getting this from? Hellfish, what do you mean troubles with New Glenn? What troubles with New Glenn? That's new information for me. Where are my engines, Jeffrey? But if there aren't engine troubles, then Jeff, where are my engines? Well, yeah. What happened is that they had troubles during development. Raptor had troubles during development too. We literally saw a Raptor engine void itself on a starship. It had problems. We saw a Raptor engine at McGregor back in like 2018 void itself on the test stand with green flames. The B4 has problems with, or had problems with its oxidizer turbo pump. We knew this. This was something that was in a GAO report a long time ago. But once again, everybody that were my engines, Jeff meme, is failing to understand what the timeline is here. They had problems in the past, and it did condense the schedule a little bit. So with the rocket engine, they're doing pre-qualification testing, qual testing, and production, which should be staggered. They're overlapping them a little bit. And that overlap is the result of that problem that happened a couple of years ago. It's a ripple effect. That does happen all the time. That's what I mean. That's regular aerospace stuff. That's nothing new. That happens with SpaceX, that happens with ULA. I mean, this stuff happens. It's just interesting to me that everybody freaks out when it happens to Blue Origin and says, "Ha, they suck." And then if it happens to anybody else, everyone's like, "Yeah, it's fine." You know, it's like, once again, I'm willing to entertain the idea that stuff's going south at Blue Origin. It could be. It could be, but I'll be honest with you. In a big corporate structure like that, when you're dealing with aerospace engineering, if you have if there is incompetency in a big corporate structure, it comes from the top. So why isn't Bob Smith fired if we really want to entertain that idea? See what I'm talking about? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Yeah, Papa, I'm kind of with you on it, dude. Everybody's just using it as an opportunity to dump on them, and it's... Once again, it's more space tribalism. And you know what's messed up? You don't see that from people that work in the industry. I know people that work at Blue Origin, and I know people that work at SpaceX. And I know people that work at Blue Origin that are hype on Starship just as much as we are. And I know people that worked at SpaceX that really thought the National Team Lander was a good idea. Like, and then there's people at Boeing that are saying, I want all of these things to launch on our rocket. You know, like, nobody cares. nobody gives a crap about that. I bet he will be if they lose the HLS. Now, you heard that from Eric Berger. Come on, Phil. Come on. He speculated about that the other day. Don't regurgitate that like it's some fact. Come on now. You guys are better than that. Hey, Sauce. Welcome to Mission Control. You go with throttle up. The best reason for wanting Blue Origin to succeed for me is just so I can get Amazon Prime on Mars. Convenience is a pretty powerful motivator. Hang on one second, I got a message. Nice. Alright. Team Space, just not Arca. I will die on this hill. I don't know, man. It's for sure an issue when the company has literally no news to show. Have they ever? Yeah, I don't know, man. It's just... Here, you want more news that you guys want to just dogpile on? Here we go. Starliner rolled back to the C-3PF yesterday. Here's some pictures of it. The Starliner capsule did have some oxidization inside of its fuel system valves. Somehow moisture got into the valves. Boeing doesn't know if it's during assembly or if it was because Starliner got hit with a giant rainstorm the day before they were going to launch, or if they had fueled it and the fuel stayed in there too long. Who knows? But they did have moisture building up in their fuel valves, and that caused that oxidization combined with nitrogen tetroxide made nitric acid and basically rusted the valve shut. So, they had to roll it back to the C-3PF, to its hangar, to its processing hangar. Is the C-3PF or whatever the acronym is the building near the VAB with the large Starliner graphic. So the C3PF, the Commercial Cargo and Crew Processing Facility, is yeah, it's the one next to the VAB. That's the former orbiter processing facility. It basically was Endeavor's hangar. Yeah. So 2 out of 3 of the orbiter processing hangars, see, C3PF, there it is. Yeah, see, you can see it's shuttle shaped. 2 out of 3 of the orbital processing facilities are being used. Actually, I think 1 and 2 are both being used. The X-37 uses these, so that's why I don't know if it's OPF 1 and 2 are being used, both of them, by the X-37. I have no idea, dude. We'll probably never know. But there is 3 over here. So they built initially during this little background on these orbiter processing facilities. These are the shuttle hangars. This is the hangar where they store the shuttles when they're not using them, or when they're processing them. So what's processing? Processing is taking it apart, putting it back together, inspecting components, refueling the OMS pods, reattaching them, and basically, if you can horizontally integrate a payload, do it in there, and also configure the payload bay. And then they would roll the orbiters out. They would roll the orbiters out down here, and then they'd put them into High Bay 2, and they'd pick them up with the cranes in High Bay 2. Wait, why is intersection is offset? I don't know, man. Reasons. They could roll into High Bay 4 as well. Dude, I don't know. Because they felt like it. So, a little bit of background on the orbiter processing facility. They originally built OPF 1 and 2, and that's all they thought they would need. Because they wanted OPF 1 and 2, and then they wanted a fleet of 4 orbiters, right? So, Columbia, Challenger, Discovery, and Atlantis, right? And the idea was, because the shuttle, they theorized that they could get the shuttle processing down to about 3 weeks, which is pretty right. That's pretty accurate. Yep, that's pretty much a thing. They did in 1985. They got a shuttle's turnaround time to be about 3 weeks. 3 weeks between its 3 weeks for processing, which is very quick. About a month turnaround from landing on the SLF to launching again for the shuttles. Yeah. Actually, it ended up being about 3 months because they had a fleet. But what they were trying to do is they wanted 4 shuttles. So 2 high bays in the VAB for stacking shuttles, and then 2 in the hangars here. So the idea is that you build 1 shuttle stack, you roll 1 shuttle stack out to the pad, launch, that one stays on orbit, and then you build another shuttle stack, right? Move that one out to the pad. When that one's ready to go, another shuttle comes back down, right? And then you launch the second one, and then you drag this shuttle back to the OPF, take one of the ready orbiters out of the OPF, put it on that, and you just create a circular system with shuttle launches every week. They were going to do it. Shuttle could have launched once a week. It was possible. If they scaled correctly, and they pretty much did, and then Challenger happened, and then they said, no, never mind. So after Challenger, they ended up building another processing facility. This one was just designed for a single orbiter, because the idea is that you have 3 orbiters being processed and 1 is flying a mission. And then when that one goes out, it comes back down and lands, and then you drag 1 out of the OPF and put it in here, and yeah. Basically, in frequency of launches, they needed more places to store the shuttles on the ground. But after the shuttle program, they sold both of these buildings to Boeing. Boeing builds Starliners over here, and they do stuff with the X-37 over there. I don't know what it is. What else will SLS be used for apart from moon missions? You could use it to shoot probes into deep space, metrics, but it's pretty much a rocket that has no market for commercial. So deep space science missions could work, but SLS really is a vehicle that's designed for human exploration of the moon in its current form. Yeah. It's designed for lunar exploration. The idea is that you use it to go to the moon, right? And you use it for lunar exploration, and then you can retool the vehicle down the road to do other things, like go to Mars or go to Venus or build a space station or whatever. You can use it for other things. Yeah, you could use it for a bunch of different things. Will it be useful for building another ISS? Cerebral, actually, what I would want NASA to do is build a space station out of an SLS hydrogen tank and then literally just put that up, have SLS just put that up into space. SLS could do that easily. Yeah. Basically make a Skylab, make a dry workshop out of a hydrogen tank from the SLS production line, and yeah, just send that whole thing up into space. Like the hydrogen tanks are plenty big enough. You could put whatever you need in there and make a pretty sweet space station. Here's one. That's what the hydrogen tank looks like. Literally just this. Forward skirt, aft skirt. Attach this to the top of the core stage. On the forward skirt, put an airlock up there, and then use the a vehicle staging adapter, an LVSA staging adapter for a and then a nose cone on top of that. So basically play Lego kit with SLS parts. So the idea is, what you could do, take one of these, right, and see the vehicle staging adapter. It's a cone adapter, right? It's a conic adapter, and you could put a nose cone on there, an empty Orion nose cone if you really wanted to. Or, I mean, the stage adapter is all 5 meters, and knowing NASA, they bolted all this stuff together using similar flanges, right? Which are Delta 4 derived, right? So you could even do something like use a Delta 4 nose cone, Delta 4 heavy nose cone, put it on top of the vehicle staging adapter. So, long story short, you could use the LVSA as a conic adapter like they did with Skylab. And then pop the nose cone, and then have a docking port and solar panels right here. And then you would take a hydrogen tank and you'd put it on top. That wouldn't fit in the VAB. Dude, if this fits in the VAB, Synerd, what makes you think that wouldn't fit? If this fits, what are you talking about? Why does NASA start at Block 1? Why not go right to Block 1B or Block 2? Well, I'll tell you what, Reagan, that's one of my criticisms of the SLS program. They said, we need to build a rocket that can do 45 metric tons to the moon. So let's build the first stage first, and then put a pre-existing stage up there to save cost, and use it as an interim cryogenic propulsive stage, ICPS. Yeah, that's stupid. They should have just built the big boy right from the start. Just like what we did with the Saturn V. It was dumb. That's one of my big problems with the SLS program. That's part of the reason why it's so damn expensive. Here. Here we go. So Project Constellation here, which was the predecessor to the SLS program, was going to basically do something similar to what I'm talking about, okay? So you started with the space shuttle, and they wanted to use a space shuttle derived launch vehicle, okay? So you make Ares 1, and before everyone, oh, it's a death trap. Yeah, sure, okay. Most rockets, if they stop mid-development, end up having a design flaw, just like the X-33 with the tanks with the carbon tanks is why it got canceled, right? Yeah, okay. Sure. But Ares 1 has problems, and they would have stayed there to the end of development. I get it. All right. So, Reagan, look. You have Ares 1. Ares 1 is a good way to not have a 10-year gap, right, for the space shuttle. Not have a 10-year gap of launching no Americans into space from Florida. And Ares 1 would have tested components for Ares 5, okay? The 5-segment solid rocket boosters, all right? These 5-seg boosters are Ares 5's boosters. Ares 1's first stage are the boosters for 5. Same thing. They're literally the same thing. The only difference is this has a has the cone on it to adapt it to 5 meter, and then this just has a nose cone on it. The SRB's core diameter is about 3.7 meters. It's about the size of a Falcon 9, similar diameter. So Ares 1 would have inadvertently fronted some of the development costs for Ares 5. And once again, this is another reason why SLS is so damn expensive. Because we had to go from basically, we went from this to something like this over here. We went from that to that. Now, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to know that this thing and this thing, while bearing some passing resemblance, look nothing alike. Okay, that one's orange and that one's orange. Going from this to this ends up being more expensive in the long run. What they wanted to do during Constellation is test out the SRBs, for instance, using leftover shuttle parts, and then by the time Ares 5 came around, you would use new parts. Because there's nothing like flight testing, and they would have used Ares 1 to not launch people, to basically have a way to get to the ISS. You would have tested the Orion capsule, you would have tested the first stage, and then the second stage for Ares 1 has a J2X in it. This engine right here. Thank you, Vulcan, for giving me this picture. That engine. That's a prototype. That's serial number 1, 2, or 3. I'm not sure. Vulcan took a picture of it wherever he is, of the J2. That's a J2X right there. This is a Hydrolox upper stage engine, right? And what they were going to do is test it with this. Guess what the upper stage engines are for Ares 5 with just a wider wider upper stage? J2X. They were going to use the J2X upper stage here, and then they were going to use it here. So Ares 1's development, while being expensive, would have made building a bigger vehicle down the road much less expensive. This thing, and this is part of the reason, it's funny to me because everybody cites Ares 1 as being so damn expensive. Oh, it cost like $80 billion to do one launch. Yeah, because it was fronting some of the development costs for Ares 5. Duh. Hello? Just like Falcon 1 covered some of Falcon 9's development cost because Falcon 1 and Falcon 9 well, not at this point, not anymore. They use similar engines, right? Not anymore, they don't. Why didn't the J2X make its way into SLS? Because we decided we wanted to save money instead of spending it on going back to the moon or wherever. We've saved $30 billion, Dion. We decided that it was too expensive, basically. Not we. Not we, a council of people headed by a former Lockheed Martin CEO named Norman Augustine, and the Augustine Commission in 2011. There was 2 Augustine Commissions. There was one in the late 80s and there was one in 2011. And these people all unanimously decided that Constellation was too expensive. It was going to cost too much. Basically, they saw Constellation and they got sticker shock. They didn't get sticker shock. They didn't get sticker shock. That was too dangerous. Yeah, okay. Yeah, all right. I thought it was Obama's fault? No. The president doesn't make decisions like that, guys. The president defers to a council or a commission of people. What does the current president know about the space program? What does the guy before him know about the space program? They know dick. That's not what the president does, dudes. This council advised the president at the time, 2 presidents ago, that this was a bad idea. And they basically whispered sweet nothings into his ear to say, hey, commercial. I mean, I'm not expecting the president to be a damn space nut, Like, it's not how that works. So the president would listen to an advisory council, and that's what the Augustine Commission was. The thing is that the advisory council basically pushed for this so ridiculously hard that the president at the time was like, all right, you guys, I trust your judgment, I guess. And they basically didn't consult Congress at all about canceling Constellation, and then just announced that they were going to do it. Just out of the blue. They just said, yeah, we're not going to do that anymore. Nope. Yeah, we're not going to do it. Go to an asteroid or something. That's a much better use of our time. And Congress freaked the hell out. They said, no, you're not. The hell you're going to do that? Yeah. Yep. Good times. You know, let's just, according to Truman, to buck stop with him. What? Oh, yeah, maybe. Wasn't this smack dab in the middle of the recession, too? Yeah, Dino, if we were playing cities and we were losing jobs like crazy, is the solution to curtail more jobs? That doesn't sound right. Once again, just think about it in the context of cities. If your city's losing money like crazy, do you bulldoze an entire commercial district? And, that doesn't sound correct. Fuel? What do you mean, Baz? What about the fuel? People are being fired. Fire more people. Yeah, that doesn't seem right. Right, I'm not justifying, just getting the context. Yeah, okay, I got you. So, Reagan, that's why. That's part of the reason why SLS has that little dinky upper stage in it, because when Congress freaked the hell out, they said no, and they tried to save as much of it as they could. They tried to save as much as humanly possible. And this wasn't this was the House and the Senate. The House and the Senate. They all said, no, the hell you're going to do that. And they tried to save as much of it as they can before they figured out what was going on. And that's why we got SLS, which is like a watered down version of Ares 5 and Ares 1. It's like if you took all the worst parts of Ares 1 and the worst parts of Ares 5 and you combined them into one launch vehicle. Don't get me wrong, still a good vehicle in its regard. It's still good. Still a good vehicle. It's just, it's very interim. You know what I mean? Somebody said in chat a little bit earlier that it's a one-trick pony. Yeah, that's actually pretty right. How is fuel stored? I asked before. Oh, Baz, yeah. So solid fuel.
Discovery.
Yeah.
Throttle up.
You think they would have figured out the RS-68s? Yeah, of course. Duh. Dude, there is Baz, I'll get to the fuel in a second. Hellfish, there's 1,000 million trade studies done. Does it sound like NASA to say, oh yeah, we'll use 5 RS-68s and 2 solid rocket boosters, and nobody, nowhere said oh yeah, the heat could be a problem? I'm telling you, what you hear about Ares 1 and Ares 5 is not true. It's not. It doesn't mean that they're bad designs. Everybody says, Ares 1 solid rocket booster first stage, that's no good. Solid rocket boosters have hurt people in the past, so they're no good. Yeah, I mean, also at the same time, solid rocket boosters have delivered more people into orbit into space, like actual space, than any other propulsion means ever, by a long shot. Carolox and solid rockets. Yep. Because so many people launched on the shuttle. Right? The reason why they get a bad rap, the temperature problems. Ares 1, the solid rocket booster is no good. I know, I've been reading about spaceflight for 5 minutes, so I know everything, right? Is because development was stopped. They canceled it halfway through development. Look at what happens. Look at what would have happened. Think about it like this. All right, would the SSTO program be as successful if in Kerbal? So we're talking in our mission mode save now. Would it be as successful if would we have a good look at SSTOs if chat decided to cancel it after I missed the first deadline? If I worked on the SSTOs for a month and chat had decided to cancel the program, right? Everybody here would be like, oh, EJ tried to build an SSTO one time. It didn't work. SSTOs in Kerbal aren't really a good idea. Right? Why? Because I wasn't finished. I wasn't finished with development. That's why Ares 1 and Ares 5 get such bad raps. They're not bad designs. They wouldn't have even got off the drawing board if that wasn't a solvable problem, right? Hey, that's a clean shirt. Thanks, Matt. How you doing? The SSTO was completely unsafe for crew. It pancaked into the runway. How would you ever trust crew on that? The side slip problems. It would have been super susceptible to side slip, and that would be a big problem. See what I mean, Does Doodles? Any rocket, space shuttle included, where you stop iterating and developing on the design because of a failure or whatever, and you try to make the thing safer or not, or keep going, right, it will have a bad rap. Space shuttle gets a bad rap for the solid rocket boosters still, even though after Challenger, the shuttle never had a problem with the SRBs ever again, except on STS-27, but that wasn't the SRB, that was the SRB separator mechanism, but that's another story. Just chilling, how's it going? It's going fine. Yeah, these aren't problems that they couldn't have fixed. They're absolutely, the reason we hear about them is because that was the last thing we heard about Ares 1 before, or Ares 5 before they were canceled. Hellfish, yeah, absolutely. They could have figured out Ares 5's problem. Look, if they can get 5 F1 engines, which is a similar amount of thrust, if they can get 5 F1 engines working simultaneously next to each other, you know, and it works pretty well, wrapping the damn thing in asbestos. That's what they did during this with the Saturn V. They had heating problems with the Saturn V. You know how they solved it? They wrapped the motors in asbestos to keep the heat out, because the heat radiating from one engine to the other can melt the outside of the rocket. That's the problems that they were worried about with Ares 5. So wrap them in asbestos. Screw it. Mylar wrap, something. They would have solved that easily. Yeah, it just, Ares 5 was very preliminary at the time. That's all. How long do you think the government will be hard on space? How long do you think the government will be hard on space with heating up competition from China? I don't know, Jeep Guy. That's a tough question. In their defense, they didn't know what it did. In their defense to what, Ansel? What do you mean? It was an engineering problem, and they solved the engineering problem. Yeah, I get it. Asbestos is bad for you. What I'm telling you is that if that wouldn't have been an unsolvable problem. The heating problems that would have happened down at Ares 5's engine section, because you have 2 SRBs and 5 RS-68s working at the same time, wouldn't have been that big of a deal. I mean, we already saw them solve that problem. You know how they solved that problem? They put 4 shuttle engines down there instead, because the shuttle engines are regeneratively cooled because of the stage combustion, because of the fuel-rich stage combustion. That solved that problem. Heck, I'll take an Ares 5 with 4 shuttle engines in it. That's fine with me. That'll work. Yeah, we can make that work just fine. It's basically what we got, you know. That solved the heating problem, didn't it? Anyway, so Baz, you wanted to, and I'll wrap up space news now. We gotta go. We have to go figure out. We might have enough. Money to get the big SSTO working. We have to go check. I kind of have to go look at the books in the space program and figure out what's going on. So here, the last bit of space news is a picture here from Philip Bodden of Starship's new nose cone. Starship's new nose cone is using strips of stainless going up instead of going sideways, which is actually pretty cool. That's pretty neat. But yeah, these that's cool nose cone. See, those problems are solved. I mean, the same case could be said about Falcon 9. If Falcon 9, after Falcon 9 1.1 failed to land, you know, if SpaceX had said, all right, well, we got to make it more reliable, right? So let's stop iterating on it. And we just had Falcon 9 1.1 that couldn't RTLS, it could only barely land on the drone ship, everybody would still be saying reusability is a stupid idea. Sometimes you just got to push through. But yeah, that's why Ares 1 and Ares 5 get such a bad rap. Show again, please. I missed it. Sure, man. Take a look. So the strips are going up, Vasya, instead of going horizontal. So instead of taking the strips of metal and doing this with them and then making a cone, right? They took the strips of metal and then they cut them like this, and they cut them long, and then they're making it like that instead of like this. You could see the old one in the back, an older nose cone in the background over there. See the seam lines that are going horizontally right there? This one has seam lines that go up. Simpler to make. It's literally the same thing, simpler to make, and I'll bet you that that one is stronger. Stretch formed over pressure plates. That's cool. Very nice. Very nice. All right, dudes. Baz, I got to get into your fuel stuff. So, Baz had a question of, well, how is fuel stored on the rockets? Well, here I can show you. So, Baz, you wanted to know like how solid and liquid fuel is stored. Here, check this out. So the SRBs on the shuttle and on SLS are made in casings. All right, they're segmented casings with O-rings. They can attach the booster together, and then there's a gasket. There's a triple O-ring gasket in there. Yes, those are the O-rings. Yeah, if you know a little bit about space, those O-rings. The redesigned system is a lot better. So let me find a picture of them putting these things together. Here, take a look. All right, here. So solid rocket propellant in the industry is called grain. How they put grain together, it literally Play-Doh. That's SRB grain right there. And how they store it inside of the SRB is, well, they I don't know if they heat it up a little bit. I think I mean, that's cast grain already. Basically, it's like modeling clay almost, or Play-Doh, right? You remember in art class when you took that modeling clay and you made something out of clay and then you put it in the oven and baked it? Literally like that. It's kind of the same thing. Here, check it out. So what they're doing there is applying a liner and an insulation piece to the steel on the inside so they can cast the grain inside of the casing. That's a thermal insulator. And then, okay, so this is right there. That is it's not a casting, but so here, this is the shape. So solid rocket fuel, Baz, the way they put it in, the shape that it is, right? The shape that they form it in can change the thrust on the SRB because you're increasing or decreasing combustion chamber surface area, right? This is a piece that they put in that they call it the forward core in the segment casing. Watch this. So this piece, right? That piece goes into the casing when it's empty. And what they're going to do is they mix up the propellant and then they dump the propellant into the casing, okay? It's a negative. Yeah, that's the right way to say it. And then once the propellant, it's like concrete almost. They cast it, right? And then they're going to smooth it out. They're going to put the inhibitors on it. So they cast it like concrete, and then they'll pull the negative out. This right here, what you're looking at is hydroxyl terminated polybutadiene in ammonium perchlorate and flakes of aluminum. They use aluminum flakes as a stabilizer for it. Similar, think like reinforced concrete with a rebar in it. They use aluminum in the fuel to stabilize it. Yeah, that's what that is. The silly putty. It's adult silly putty. And then they'll put the inhibitors on it, right? So this inhibitor right here makes it so, you don't light it on fire. If you took like a match and you threw it on the silly putty, a lot of energy would get released. Yeah, oh yeah, a lot of energy. Yeah. So they put the inhibitor, which is the inhibitor on there basically makes it so it doesn't catch on fire. You don't want that. That's a bad idea. So now they're going to take the fins out of the SRB, and then they'll pull the core out as well. Aluminum is the main propellant. Oh, thanks, man. So now they're going to x-ray it to make sure that it casts nice and uniform, because if there's air pockets inside of the SRB, you're going to vary the thrust. And you don't want one SRB to lose thrust for a second when the shuttle stack is going, because then the shuttle will take a right. That would be very bad. So they x-ray inspect the propellants, and and they pull that negative out. Yeah, exactly, Matt. So giant shuttle booster can literally be lighted with a match. There's a spark plug at the top of the SRB, Nighthound. How do you think they light the SRB off? You arc electricity in the combustion chamber. Just like it's an Estes rocket engine. It's just 120 feet tall and 15 feet wide. It's a big Estes rocket engine. That's all it is. What? Just like the one that's in your car? It's a space spark plug, so it's probably a lot more complicated, a little bit more expensive, and it probably doesn't look like a spark plug, but it's a spark plug. It's called an igniter. Yeah, that's all they do. They just arc electricity, and that arc lights the SRB out the bottom. Yeah, I'm telling you, SRBs are very simple. They're very simple. They get a bad rap because everybody watches YouTube videos that sensationalize Challenger. SRBs are great. It's friggin' cheating, dude. For first stages, it's freaking cheating, man. Yeah, that's what happens when they turn it on. You see that? Here, ready? There's the igniter right there. Yep, they're on the very top of the forward segment. There's your igniter. I'm not sure if it's a spark plug, Nighthound. Different SRBs use different igniters. This one could be a flame that they shoot out. It could be a flamethrower. Somebody in chat said it could be another SRB. They could shoot some. Basically, you just got to introduce some flames to the grain, and that's it. And then it does this. Could it make Earth spin faster? Oh, yeah, no. It looks like it does, though. Yeah. They're testing out freaking casings there. Yeah, look at this, though. The overpressure event is nuts, dude. Oh, that doesn't show it. It's cool. There's a blast plug in the bottom of the SRB. There's a blast plug in the bottom of the SRB, and it's really freaking cool, actually. Hold on, I just, yeah, here. I'll freaking blow your mind. I'm trying to find the right picture. Yeah, here's a good one. This is looking up the business end of the SRB. Watch this. See, there's the blast plug right there. The blast plug is usually foam. Once again, it's just a foam plug that they put in the throat to make sure that nothing goes up there. You don't want any foreign object debris in there. Watch. Oh, there's a good, yeah, sub-network. That's pretty cool. Here, I'll just play it. Look. There's the blast cap, and then... Isn't this shot from a mirror? Yes. Oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah. Yeah, no. Anything that you put behind this thing, you're not getting back. See the mirror right there? That's what that first shot is. The first shot is looking through that mirror. It's that mirror. Watch what happens to the mirror. Yep. Yeah, there's no more mirror. See ya! The mirror goes to Valhalla. Freaking mirror didn't make it. The mirror didn't make it, man. It didn't make it. Yeah, see, there's the plug getting fracturing, and then yeah, it blows the ring out. Yeah. So what's going on right here in this split second is they ignite the top of the SRB. The igniter's at the very top, and they ignite it, and it takes a second for the combustion chamber, which is the length of the 4 casings on the inside right there. It takes a second for the flames to go down to the throat and pressurize the combustion chamber, because when they'll go down the throat, or they'll go down the combustion chamber of the SRB, they'll get impinged on the throat just like a regular rocket engine, and then out the back. This rapid change in pressure causes the ring, because the inside of the SRB goes from ambient pressure to yeet pressure really, really fast. That's what happened. That's why the ring is there. Just, and then it's cool because you can see some under expanded flow there. The SRB takes a second, less than a second, takes a millisecond, but you see how the flames are going down right there? That's overexpanded. Overexpanded nozzle. Underexpanded flow, I guess, would be the right way to say that. And then, see, it gets up to speed. There you go. Yep. That's pretty cool. Yeah, that's pretty neat. Also, it's important to understand, if you look, there's like smoke coming from the side here. See that? What's going on there is the SRB is so ridiculously hot that heat is getting radiated off the back of the nozzle, or convected off the back of the nozzle, and turning sand into glass. Yeah, that's what that is. You're seeing the byproducts of sand melting and turning into glass. Yeah, see it right there? That's how hot that is. Heck, there's some footage floating around on YouTube of somebody that put a GoPro right here, and the GoPro melted. Right there. That's not close to it. What's the nozzle plug for? Foreign object debris. You don't want anything going in there, like a bird or whatever. You don't want it going in there. Yeah, SRB stuff is a little bit unstable. Well, it's not that it's unstable. It's just heat. Yeah, heat makes SRBs do things. Is the SRB back plugged for when it lands in the ocean to make it floatable? No. No, you want to know how the SRB actually has a landing cushion built into it. It's built into the design naturally. So if you have your water down here, right? Your SRB is coming back down, right? Here's your SRB. Your SRB is coming down with its parachutes. So the SRB is coming back down with its parachutes, and obviously you have the nozzle, which is right here, right? There's your nice SRB, right? So right before T-Man, right before the SRB hits the water, it dumps the nozzle. The nozzle is ablative. It's a one-use nozzle. That's how it keeps cool. That's how the SRB nozzle doesn't melt. They literally make the nozzle out of heat shield. So it dumps the nozzle, and then when the SRB comes down into the water, right? The inside of the SRB is just an empty pipe. It's just an empty pipe. And when it hits the water, water tries to go up here. It tries to go up into the nozzle, but it naturally doesn't. Well, why? Well, the SRB is designed to hold pressure, and it's designed to really only have only one way in or out. And that's this part right here. The fun part. That's the only way in and out. Everything else is sealed. So what it does is when the thing lands, it actually pressurizes air inside of the SRB. The SRB gets pressurized because it goes, gravity forces it into the water, and water tries to go up into the nozzle, but it doesn't. It can't because there's air there. But the air is compressible, so some water does get in, and then the air gets to full compression, and buoyancy does its thing, and the SRB actually just tips over and falls into the water. But this right here, T-Man, you actually don't want, you want salt water to go in there to an extent. The reason why you want salt water to go in there to an extent is because the SRB, when it hits the ground and if they allow water into the combustion chamber, it basically acts as a gigantic shock absorber. Yep. It's part of the reason why the SRBs can land. Those parachutes don't stop it, don't let it gently into the ocean by any means. The SRB hits the water going like 60, 70 miles an hour, easily. Even those 3 big parachutes that the SRB has, it's not enough. But what the NASA engineers, well, Morton Thiokol engineers, what they figured out is that the SRB is a gigantic shock absorber. Because it's a big pneumatic gas strut when it hits the water, right? Because the water tries to go in and it compresses the air, and it actually dampens the landing. That's how the SRBs were able to land, and they didn't damage themselves. Was there ever an occurrence of one sinking? Nope, never. No, the SRBs actually stay here. I'll show you. Literally impossible. The SRBs are impossible to sink. Not impossible, but physics makes it really, really difficult to do. So if you look at some
Discovery, go at throttle up.
the SRB recovery footage here, the SRBs, they end up compressing that air inside of it, and they don't actually tip over until the recovery crews go and get them. See? They stay naturally buoyant because of the phenomenon that I'm talking about. It lands perfectly vertical. It compresses air inside of the last casing, or well, some of the casings, and that actually ends up making the SRB buoyant. Hey, Spudrum, love your work. Thanks, man. Yeah, they stay upright. It's only rough seas would cause it to tip, and they wouldn't launch in rough. Shuttle launches got scrubbed because of the recovery area, just like Falcon 9. Yeah. See, people dump on SRBs, man, but they're pretty friggin' cool. Pretty good idea. Very inexpensive to make. They have 2 moving parts. The up-down thrust vector actuator, the left-right thrust vector actuator, and then the spark plug at the top. That's it. And parachutes with this, obviously, and the separator motors. Still ridiculously simple comparatively to a liquid fuel engine. Ridiculously simple and a lot of power. It acts like a big metal balloon then, pretty much. Yep. So, Mysterious, you could do this science experiment at home. Take a can, right? Take a can and fill up a sink with water, and then take the can, turn it upside down, and try to force it in the water. It's either going to want to tip over, but it won't sink. No way. The water's sealed in there. Here's NASA video that shows the booster hitting the water. Mm-hmm. Let me see. We got to get to Kerbal, guys. Oh, yeah, this is some of my favorite shuttle footage, dude. We'll just get to the good stuff. I'll get to the part that I like. Right here. What happens to the external tank? Does it get vaporized in the atmosphere? Yes. Do SRBs have a place after Raptors? Sure, why not? Yeah, baby! Oh, that's so legit. Later, shuttle. Let's see, what's this one? That's the inner tank on the ET. See ya! This one right here. Ready? Sweet! That is the freaking coolest. That's one of the coolest shots in spaceflight, even to this day. That is so legit. Look at that shuttle. Look at that shuttle flying, man. Are SRBs cheaper in general? Absolutely, Spudrum. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Downsides to an SRB. They're heavy. Very freaking heavy. Oh, yeah. The solid, like I said, remember I said that the grain is like casting concrete? Oh, yeah. Very heavy. They need to move them around by train. You can't move them by truck. Not that you would want to do that, ever. That's a bad idea. Can't turn them off and on, so... If you can give me, Xeon, if you can give me an instance in normal space flight where you turn your first stage off and on during ascent, I'll be pretty impressed. Yeah. So what? You only shut the thing down if something goes wrong. But SRBs are simple. You can make them reliable because they're simple. Literally T-34. It's the T-34 scenario. The T-34 tank that the Soviet Union had in World War II. It was ridiculously simple. All we got to do is just take our armor plating and turn it like that. And then, see ya. Simplicity has, somebody said it in chat, simplicity will always have a place. What was the specific impulse of the shuttle SRBs? 250? 230? 240? But it's a first stage, Jonas. It's not about being efficient. It's about having thrust, because you have to move that freaking thing up into space. How fast can they pour the fuel into an SRB to refuel it? They need to be refurbed. SRBs are not reusable. That's a downside. They are not reusable. You can't take an SRB, fish it out of the ocean, and put it back on the pad. It has to go back to the factory. The casings, they have to go back to the factory. Those metal rings, the white metal rings, they have to go back and they have to basically clean them out. They're steel, so they're marine steel, if I'm remembering right, or like marine grade steel. So they're not very susceptible to saltwater corrosion, no more than a regular ship would be, right? But if you fish them out quick, then it's not a big deal. They have to ship them back via train. They had to ship them back via train to Ogden, Utah. And then that's where that factory was where you saw them casting them. It was in Utah. So they basically have to clean the inside of the booster out, reapply the insulative material, put the thing in the processing stand, cast the grain, put the inhibitors in, take the negative out, and then cap it and then ship it back. Once again, if you have enough, if you manufacture enough of those, you can fly a lot. It's not a big deal. So they are refurbishable, but yeah, that is a bottleneck. You have to, and what they thought of with the shuttle, the idea was that if you just made a lot of these things, because they're easy to make, or easier than a liquid fuel engine, if you just make a lot of them, it doesn't matter. You could just flood the market with SRBs. Elon is trying to do the same thing right now with Raptor engines. Raptor engines are ridiculously complicated, but if you make a ton of them, then they're not ridiculously complicated anymore. No such thing as a 2 or more stage SRB. No, an attachable side booster would probably be the closest thing to that. How do SRBs work in theory? Similar to how regular bullets work? No. Do they have a shelf life? Yes, but the shelf life, they do. Shelf life is pretty long on SRBs. It's about, I think it's like 30 years or something. Yeah. Anybody know why? Anybody know why? There's a reason. Yep, that was an easy one. You guys got that one. AJ, you got it, man. It's because another way that the shuttle engineers at the time thought would be a good way to reduce costs is to base the boosters on the shuttle, or at least the propellants from the boosters on the shuttle, on ICBMs, which we have a lot of. Yeah, so there was no, that's part of the reason why Rockwell and why NASA went with the SRB, well, why Morton Thiokol was selected, why we went with it. We already have a factory that makes grain. You already have that. You already have a factory that can make an SRB that big. It's not a big deal because they're busy making first stages for ICBMs at the same time. That factory still makes first stages for ICBMs to this day. That's one of the ways they thought they could bring the shuttle prices down, and arguably it did. Did they use the same SRB grain pattern for the entire shuttle program, or did they modify it over the time? The boosters went through a couple of different modifications, Torlav, but for the most part it stayed the same. I mean, there's upgrades and iterations here and there. They had an ASRB program that they tried down the road that could have been really nice, but they ended up not doing that after Challenger. I forget what the ASRB had, the Advanced SRB program, but the SRBs pretty much were unchanged. I think they upgraded the avionics on them a couple of times here and there, and then that's about it. It didn't really change much. In fact, STS-135 had some SRB casings that were used on STS-1 30 years prior. True story. Some of SLS's, the boosters that are on SLS, the casings on SLS are shuttle booster parts. They're left over. They refurbed them and they put them on SLS. Only in 5 segments instead of 4. Some of those casings are from the shuttle program. I think one of the casings that's on Artemis 1 flew on 135. I'm pretty damn sure, actually, yeah. I'd have to go check NASA spaceflight. The ASRB was a composite casing unsegmented SRB. Man, that would have been nice. Little ahead of its time, though, Synerd. No, that's another thing with the SLS program. They don't have any long-term SRB supply lined up, but there's a NASA program under Next Step 2 called, I think it's under Next Step 2. It could be a different program. I forget. Called the Booster Obsolescence and Life Expectancy Program, BOLE or BOL. The BOLE program is the program that's right now. What BOLE does is basically look around for boosters that could replace SLS's SRBs when they run out of shuttle casings. Yeah. SLS is using shuttle motors that flew on the space shuttle right now. Artemis 1 has 4 engines from the shuttle program that flew multiple times during the shuttle program, and the SRB casings flew multiple times during the shuttle program. Yep. Hey, Vulcan. Nice picture of the J2. I used it in Space News today. Where is that, by the way? I need to know for research purposes. Yes, SRBs are very simple, guys. It's a very simple way to get a lot of energy. They're actually really good first stages. And I'm saying that as Mr. Reusable Starship. I like Starship. I think Starship's idea is way better. But, I mean, on the other hand, you know, SRBs are so ridiculously cheap to make. If you make them in mass, they could cost nothing. They could be even less expensive than trying to reuse a first stage if you make a lot of them. Think plastic straw. Well, not anymore. Think disposable straw. It ain't plastic straws no more. They're a straw that you can use for 5 minutes before it turns to paste. Northrop Grumman will get that contract, John. That's right. They gamed the Air Force out of $500 million to develop carbon SRBs for SLS, which is hilarious to me. That's really funny. Anyway, Baz, if you want to know how liquid fuel works, well, here. I can show you. How does a rocket store liquid oxygen and liquid hydrogen or propellants or whatever? Here, take a look. This is from SpaceX. This is CRS-4. This is inside of the second stage liquid oxygen tank. There it is. It's just literally liquid in a tank. That's it. But there is some caveats to this, okay? So in a normal fuel tank in a car, all right, like a gas tank or a diesel tank or whatever, if you have an internal combustion engine in your car, that's cool that I have to say that nowadays. You have 3 lines going in and out of your gas tank, okay? The first line is where you put the fuel in. That goes from the gas cap down into the fuel tank, okay? That's the first one. The second one is where your fuel goes out to your engine, okay? This basically has those 2. The third one is where stuff gets a little complicated. On a gasoline tank, the third line is called a vent line, okay? Why? Because if your tank only had a line to the motor, which is a pressurized line, doesn't matter the car, it's a pressurized line that goes to your engine, and you have the filler neck, when you tried to put, if you tried to put fuel into it, you would get air bubbles in the tank, right? Or when you drained it, the tank would lose pressure. If you have your gas cap plugged and the engine is pulling gasoline at pressure away, it could crumple the fuel tank. So they put vent lines in them, okay? And what happens is, as your tank drains fuel, right, air goes into the gas tank. It's a vent line. It's literally just a vent that's open to the atmosphere. Every car has them. They're in different spots. It depends on the car. So now you can't do that with this. The reason why you can't do that with this is because if you have just a vent line that's going to outside, your rocket engine will work for about 30 seconds, and then when it gets too high, your tank will lose pressure because you're venting the vacuum, and the fuel will go out there instead of into the rocket engine. That's not what you want. Bad idea. No. So what they do is they have to figure out a way to have a vent line, but not a vent line at the same time. So what SpaceX does is they have these things here. These are try-hard propane tanks. Yeah, that's the right way to say it. No, these are composite overwrapped pressure vessels. They're a titanium pressure vessel that's pill-shaped, that's wrapped in carbon fiber. The idea is that you can store gases at extremely high pressures and in extremely low volume. The shuttle program was the first to utilize COPVs. That's actually an invention that came right from NASA. Every rocket uses COPVs nowadays, every one of them. So what they do is they fill these suckers up with helium. And as the rocket goes up into space, right, these things, when the rocket engine turns on and it starts sucking fuel out, these will start pumping gas, pumping helium. They have regulators that'll pump the helium into the tank to fill up that space with gas. Why do they use helium? Really light. Yeah. Balloons and stuff. And gas is mass that you have to take into space. You have to figure that into your delta V formula, obviously. If they use nitrogen, the rocket would have more mass and it would be not as efficient. So they pump the tanks full of helium through a vent line at the top, just like a car's fuel tank, but instead of putting nitrogen and oxygen in from the atmosphere, they put gas from these COPVs in there. And as the propellant drains, they fill the tank up more and more with gas. And since helium is like kind of reverse buoyant almost, helium will pool at the top of the tank under acceleration, and all the fuel will pool at the bottom of the tank, and it keeps it separated. It keeps the fuel from having air bubbles in it, because SN9 shows exactly why you do not want anything but liquid fuel and oxidizer going into your liquid fuel and oxidizer engine. It won't work. You'll have combustion instability if you do, and that's part of the reason why 9 just dipped right into the ground, because one of the engines sucked in some nitrogen. Yeah, not good. Anyway, so yeah, the liquid fuel is just drains in the tank basically. Hydrogen is lighter, but it's not inert. Yeah, you'd want to use an inert gas. Mm-hmm. And then here's the cool part. Watch what happens when they shut the engine off. See? Yeah. Whoa. Yeah, Cerebral, it's fixed. SN15 fixed the problem. Look at how the surface tension of liquid oxygen holds it. It holds it together. It doesn't just everywhere. It holds it together like sludge. Isn't that crazy? Much simpler than I thought. The concepts are simple, Baz. I can teach anybody rocket science. Or at least the basics. Enough to understand what the heck's going on. Like, think Rocket Science 101. It's really easy to teach to people. Doing rocket science is difficult. That's the hard part. Stick. Yes, but do we know how? Autogenous pressurization should fix that problem. Should have fixed that problem. Oh, where are you? Where, Vulcan? Where are you? Since it got eaten up in chat, the J2X is at Huntsville. Yeah, I sent you a high-res photo and currently working on an ultra-high-res photo. You want me to show it? So, Baz, hopefully that helps. Guys, I told Baz that I would explain that stuff to him. So, yeah. All right. It's 8 o'clock. Go right ahead if you want. If I want. I'm not missing an opportunity to show off a J2. Oh, dude, that could have been the future, man. It's such a shame. That right there is probably the biggest reason why I'm super salty that Constellation got canceled. Even 10 years later, that's the reason. It's the J2X, yeah. That's one of three. There's only three production engines in existence. They started making them, and then Constellation got axed. So this is either serial number 1, 2, or 3, if I'm remembering correctly. You should stick that on the truck. Yeah, that'd be nice. It gives off serial number 2 vibes, personally. Yeah. So you're looking at a regeneratively cooled Hydrolox upper stage, guys. So the J2X was, and this was just with the prototypes that they were working with. So listen to these numbers. Kerbal players, get ready to salivate. It's primarily an upper stage engine. You could use it as a first stage engine, I guess, if you want to. It's an upper stage engine, so it had a vacuum optimized nozzle, and the motor produced about 1,000 kilonewtons of thrust at like 412 specific impulse or something, 412 second specific impulse. Now, for the people that don't speak rocket, what that means is like having a car that has 1,000 horsepower, that gets like 120 miles to the gallon. Yeah, that's what that means. 420 ISP, nice. Yeah. I haven't learned much more about RDs. I have to read more about them, Nighthound. Watch, Scott Manley has a video about it, dude. You're gonna watch his. Watch his video about it. Thank you again. Very educational. You have a talent to explain. Yeah, I'm trying, man. I'm trying. Baz, the reason why I'm so good at explaining this complicated stuff is because in order for me to even comprehend what the heck's going on, I have to come up with some way to explain it to myself. All I ever do is just... Every time I explain this stuff to you guys is just explaining stuff as I understand it. That's how I understand this stuff. It's just, I had to explain it to myself first, you know? Why are we putting this engine in every single rocket? Swishio, you've come in here and say before, why are you still pissed off about Constellation, man? Why are you still pissed off about Constellation? I distinctly recall you saying that. There's a good reason, man. There's a good reason. That's one of the reasons, dude. And the crazy part is that that engine could have been used on Ares 1 or Ares 5. You could use it either way. Constellation getting canceled killed the project, X. You want to, and this is what I mean about it's 10 years ago, guys. It sucked being a spaceflight fan. It sucked. All right, you want to, okay, you want to see something that really hurts? So they canceled the J2. They canceled the J2 program, right? You know, as part of a. They canceled the J2 program as part of getting rid of Constellation, etc., etc., etc. Not only did they have functioning engines and they had entered serial production, but the test stand for them was already made. They had been testing J2 engines at, well, where Vulcan took that picture at Huntsville, but they weren't testing them with the vacuum optimized nozzle. NASA built an entire test stand at Stennis for testing high-powered Hydrolox upper stages. So they were going to test the J2 with the nozzle. They built the entire frigging test stand. Yeah, I know. Be mad. You should be. It's very annoying. Did they cancel the F1B at the same time? No. F1B is something different. So, and this is how you know that that they tried to sweep Constellation quietly under the rug really fast without telling anybody, because the test stand actually got completed after Constellation was canceled, believe it or not. One of the contractors, the contractor that was building that test stand, took NASA to federal claims court. Sound familiar? Because NASA said, oh yeah, we're not going to give you any more money. And the contractor said, oh yeah, the hell you aren't. We signed a contract. You can't renege on that. That's against the law. And NASA said, yeah, we can. And the contractor said, fine, frick you. I'm taking you to court. And they won. So NASA had to finish paying out on the A3 test stand. And they paid somebody to build a test stand. They paid the contractor to build a test stand for a rocket engine that was canceled. And for a space program that was also canceled. And the test stand was completed in 2013. Right on time, actually. Yeah. Right on time for Ares 1 testing. How was Constellation behind schedule again? Huh. Interesting. Yeah. This is why I get really pissed off when, people badmouth Constellation. It's really annoying. It was a pretty damn good, well thought out space program, and we did commercial. And don't get me wrong, the commercial game that's also a good move. I'm not dumping on SpaceX. Certainly, we wouldn't, SpaceX wouldn't be where they are if we had kept going with the Constellation program, right? Actually, I'm sorry, that was a trick statement. They absolutely would. The Commercial Orbital Transport Services Program and Commercial Crew Program were part of the Constellation program. Yeah, that was already going to happen. NASA had already given SpaceX a contract for Falcon 9 3 years before Constellation had gotten canceled. Falcon 9 was happening anyway. Yeah. So, the way it was presented at the time, which was doublespeak, that was bullcrap, is that, we could have this big government program or we could go commercial. When in reality, the plan before was to do both of those things, which was the more sustainable way. The Constellation still makes me salty to this day, dude. It's a misstep. Big misstep. Probably the worst space policy that NASA has had. Ever. Like, ever. Quite a statement. It literally is. And I'm not backing down from that. Yes, I put more thought into it, and I know you're going to be like, well, what about this UJ that killed people? Yeah, okay, that's fine. You need both programs to go together. You need a government program, a NASA in-house program, and a commercial program to go with each other, because if they don't, you're not going to stabilize the launch market that way. That's not how this works. This is what I have so far. Hey, nice. That's cool. Ares 1 plus Orion meant we would have had redundancy even with Starliner being grounded. And Doodles, it all goes back to what I was saying. And once again, I don't mean to get people all riled up, but it's important to understand and know this because I see patterns repeating themselves. People are saying the same things now about SLS that they were saying about Constellation. They're saying the same things. And it's funny because the people that are saying the same things about SLS now that were saying the same things about Constellation unironically believed the same thing when they, at the time, the reason that SLS exists in the first place is because they built up enough momentum to get Constellation canceled. So it started like this. Oh, that government program doesn't work. That government program doesn't work. That government program doesn't work. Commercial's a better way. Commercial's a better way. Commercial's a better way. And then they did it. And that, the result of that directly got us SLS, right? And now they're saying, oh, SLS is bad, SLS is bad, SLS is bad, commercial can do it better, commercial can do it better, commercial can do it better, commercial can do it better. They're saying that unironically when they realize that the reason that SLS exists is because people whined about it in the first place.